Hello, I'm Richard Raffan. In this video you're going to see me make this box elder box. It's got a suction fit lid. It was a bit of a battle because the wood did not want to be cut cleanly. I know it to be around 10 years old or more. It was quite hard and also a bit punky, so grain tended to pull out quite a bit. Didn't want to be cut cleanly at all. Anyway, you'll see how I deal with that, how I do cut it cleanly, and then how I have to resort for sanding for some of the areas. So I think for anybody interested in working timber which is slightly has got a touch of rot in it, is a bit punky, you might find this quite useful. This, as you can see, is a piece of box elder. It's very dry. Came out of a garage clearance recently, where most of the timber is well over 10 years old. 4 inches diameter, which is 100 mil, and just checking it for defects. There's a split which runs just there and then runs off here, so that I need to keep an eye on that. And I'll just put a mark up from center where the other end looks as though it's going. I'll rough down this with a skew chisel. Start slow and wind it up. Now it's pretty hard. People want to know the rest height. It's well above centre. That's horizontal, so it's at least an inch above centre with the larger diameter. Heard a little bit of something snicking away there. That's that bit. Split there doesn't look too bad at this stage. Not. So that'll be where the join is. Down to smooth. So how much further have I got to go? Split there. So I need to mark that, so I know where to look for it. And it ends up here, so I might just deal with that now. Now running up to 1300. So the main aim here is to get rid of the split. Sounds as if it's still there. So there's my line there. Yep, that's a major one. Seems to go on. It's fading out. There's my line. There's the split. I think I can still away with that. We'll just leave a little mark there for it. Still there, so I'll still be able to get something out of this. I have an order for one of my onion dome boxes, and I might well be able to. That split's going all the way through, so this will be where I'll grip up at this point. That's where I'll grip the lid. Right, now we'll get down to the rest of it and see what else we might discover. Long point down. The split came out about there, so that looks okay. And by taking the squared out around with a skew, I'm finding out how the wood works as much as anything. Am I going to get a nice clean surface off the tool with the grain running at an angle as it is? Right. The knot doesn't seem to go very far. That's good. Right, this now goes into a chuck, and in order to do that I need to true up the other end first. So peeling cut, and slightly undercutting the rim, the base. Oh, it doesn't look very nice. Next thing is to true up the base, and I normally do that with a 3/8 spindle gouge. Not running dead true, that doesn't matter too much. What I would like to know is if it's possible to make a nice clean cut, which it is. Now I've still got the mark in the drive, or the centre cone, so the drive in that case, I want to get rid of that, get rid of everything you don't want in the final piece early on. You're having to worry about it later. Right, slightly undercut. True this up. I'm just hesitating a second. I think I'm going to put a very slight shoulder here so that I can bring the jaws up to that point. I'll just make it slightly easier to get it running true in the chuck. This now gets parted off. I've got a hole just up here, which is where that knot is. That I do not want in my final piece. I'm going to cut this around here. Yes, my hand's a little bit small for that one. Now this is a fairly nasty bit of wood. Just get a shorter rest in. I need to get rid of this knot first. Just need to find out where this is going. So instantly lost track of it, so just mark where it is. I can hear a slight whipping sound, knock, 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 and that is the bottom of the knot. Right, that's all but gone. That is what I have available. We have reasonably clean material. This really is not a nice looking bit of wood. I'm going to come up in speed. I'm now up to 16, nearly 1700. I can do on a piece this size with that tool. So now I go in with a square end scraper. This is a 3/4 inch, 1/4 inch thick, and I want the rest up, so I'm cutting. The rest is just well above centre. In fact, I just want to be able to use just this, have just this side in contact with the wood. Dry and dusty, so I'll have the extractor on. Slight vibration, so I take that in too. This cylindrical, this flange. So let the dividers right out, or the calipers rather. And what I want is I want to be able to feel a slight resistance as I pull them out. And it is, this one is, yep, that'll just trigger out, so there's about 1/2 millimetre, maybe not even that. So I just need to take that very slightly wider at the back, which is okay. I'll take this out with sanding, which I don't normally do, but I will on this occasion. There's the 1 inch asymmetric round nose. That just sounds as if it's tearing up. Yeah, it's not very nice. Anyway, get the bulk out and then come back with a sharper tool. is a separate video where you get a side view of this on honing a tool. That will be in the tools playlist. My rest just needs to be a bit higher than that, so the tool's pitched down when it's cutting its centre. It does sound like a sandpaper job. Oh no, it's not as bad as I thought. Good. A little bit of picked up grain, but 180 grit will take care of that. If it doesn't take care of it, I have 120. And I even have some 80. Actually take in what was happening on that little shoulder. That needs a little bit of picked up grain in here, so I just need to ease the tool in onto that. That rim is chamfered in very slightly, just around the lip. 240 grits. This is straight beeswax. Build up a sticky layer and force it in, melt it in. Right, that's the lid inside done. Next thing is to prepare for the detail at the join. And I always have a detail at the join, and if it's a bead or a groove, it's much the same at the bottom of a bead. It's essentially a kind of rounded groove, so I put this on now. And then I can start to do some rough shaping here. Some kind of a bead up there. But mostly I want to be able to feel my way around here. This goes round now. The chuck will mark this, but all I want is to really shape the, get the outside shape done. What I forgot to do was measure where the inside is. It's always important to know exactly where the inside is. Right, so just there's a little kind of ridge there, which I will get the jaws aligned on that. Jaw marks don't matter because that's all going to get finished once I've hollowed the inside. Now I can just see the hint of where the inside is, and that is where it is. Thinking of a finial end on top of this, so I've got plenty of finial material there. There was the split, so I need to look for that, and it's still hanging around just there. Right, that bulks that out for the moment. Now, plenty to play with there. So now this goes in. That is the bit which is parted off. That's not as smooth as I'd thought, but I can finish that later. Thin little shoulder gives me somewhere for to line the jaws up. Right, next thing is to find out how much I have to play with when I come to hollowing, so I need to set the diameter, this diameter on here first, very important, and do that with the skew chisel. Just cutting a taper so that fits over the end. Where it rubs is where it fits, and that's all I need to know at the moment. Get a hole down the middle. That one. see what's happening inside because I've got my weight over the tool. There is centre. Very heavy cut, so I'll just take that step. And I can see what's happening at about 5 o'clock over the other side. Holding the tool at the end of the handle at the moment. Bottom is not a pretty sight. Where we're going, I've got about 3/8 of an inch to play with. So this is very slightly radiused. The idea is going to be to come up through the middle very gently and then drag the left corner sideways out to the side. The grain wants to pull out, so you just have to do it very, very gently with a sharp edge. A socially aware cardboard straw this is. Right, so that's not too bad down on the bottom. a little kind of ridge just in there, and that will sand all right. So often on the inside of these I'll get in with 120 to start with anyway. Round the inside, just so it's comfortable when you feel into it. Bottom, just bend the abrasive over. .180 grit. Oh, that's all right. So that's the inside done. Next is to fit the lid on tight and start to shape the outside. 3/4 inch skew. And I'm going down about 3/4 of that. More. I want to undercut that shoulder very slightly. Now, this gets trued up. Hold this up very lightly, and where it rubs is where it fits. Just about there. Right, so I have two bands here, and I go between those two. Just drift the nose of the tool in across the grain, and then I can use the bevel side. Just rotate the tool into that. Slightly safer than doing the shear cut in, and it usually produces a better surface. Right, so that fits. Oh, there's blood. Don't know where that came from. Now, this does happen occasionally. And I'm going to have to cope with the blood first. Right, all very well having the DNA evidence, but gets a bit messy. Right, this is not a good fit. We want at this stage, or maybe not quite that tight. Oh, these little excitements. Right, still a bit of torn grain, chipped out grain there. That will sand. And next thing is to reduce this shoulder, which is going to help me gauge how thick the wall is inside the lid. Doesn't feel too bad. This time I'll be able to, pause. I might just take this down a little bit more. So that line is where the inside is. This diameter is an indication of how much wood I have to play with up there. Just explore this for the moment. Still a 1/2 inch spindle gouge. My apologies, I didn't realise you couldn't see. Nope, too much going on. Remember, don't push, let the wood come onto the tool, otherwise you'll pull the end grain out. A teeny V cut in the bottom of that curve, so that's better defined. Now my major problem here is that if I cut that way I'm likely to go into the base, so I've got to shift the whole thing slightly out and have it running true, or true enough. V groove at the top of that little cove. It doesn't feel very good, so I'll just shear scrape it with the bevel, or the bevel side. Now I can sand all that. Right, the rest of this gets done when it's turned round. Next thing is to fine fit the lid, which in this case I'll do with abrasive. 320. It's very, very easy to take off too much here. I want this flange here very slightly rounded over, barrel shape. Perfect. Good. Right, now I need a chuck for that. Optimistic, I think. First thing, make sure the chuck marks are gone. A little bit there. I'd really like to kind of get what I think of as a swing, just a very slight concave curve. toes, if you like. Deep breath as I come across the bottom. Rather as on the inside, I'm going to kind of go very, very gently or drag the corner across. Sounds a bit thinner than I was anticipating in there. That might be enough. Enough decoration. Bottom needs a bit of 120, I think. Certainly feels like it. Well, that seems to have torn up a bit. This will take care of that. Right, this is still hot, so therefore it is slightly larger than the lid, which is cool. Here we are a few minutes later. That feels pretty nice. Just popping up a little bit, still a little bit warm in the base. So this has cooled off, and that's really quite a nice fit now. Now here we are 24 hours later, and you can see that the suction fit has softened very slightly.